Hey, what's up, YouTube fam? So, I really didn't want to actually make a video like this, but I felt led to do it. So, yeah, let's cut to the chase. I ran across many YouTube videos, which I'm kind of saddened by, to be honest, that so many people are focused on this. But our girl Lauren Daigle, she did an interview in LA and was asked the question, what do you label yourself as? A Christian artist or an artist, or what does that look like in your mind? She said, I really never, well, I'm paraphrasing, right? She goes, I didn't place the label Christian on me like it's placed on me by others. People place labels on you. And she goes, I see myself as an artist. And it just kind of flowed from there. And yeah, that's a tough place to be. Those questions are really, I feel like they're kind of like setups, to be honest with you. And as an artist who is a Christian, Martay, I am Martay, I am a Christian, and I am an artist. I actually had a conversation with my friend and coworker, Grace Robinson. She's also a Christian and an artist, but not a musician like me. Grace is a writer. We had this conversation one night because Grace and I really have a passion for the lost, people who don't know Jesus. And we were talking about how it can be very hard sometimes as a Christian who is an artist to do your art and reach people like that while actually having a label on you as a Christian. So I want to be totally candid and share this personal conversation that Grace had with me. We weren't really intending to share it. I was just recording it so that we could take down notes later. I was being lazy. And I was like, I'm just gonna record this conversation as opposed to taking down notes and writing down ideas for some kind of future content. We were just having like a brainstorming session and we broke out to this discussion. And I think it's an important discussion to have, especially if you're an artist. And I know there's a lot of artists out there that follow me. And I know there's a lot of people that don't understand the Lauren Daigle comment. And I'm not trying to say she said this or that. That is not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to have an open discussion because I am kind of in the same arena. I am a Christian. I love the Lord. But the Lord has more times than other times put me in places that are super dark and are not in front of Christian audiences. And I've been questioned. I remember I opened up for Snoop Dogg about a year or two ago and somebody sent me an email right away saying, hey, are you a Christian? What's wrong with you? And I'm like, it's not Christian or not Christian. It's really, I'm a Christian and I have a heart for the lost. So I feel led by God in this moment to get on that stage and to open up for Snoop Dogg. Not to get any glory for myself or anything like that, though there are Christians that are out for their own glory and that happens, and I've had to beat my own flesh to stay out of that. But I just want to shed some light on what the mental process can be as a Christian who is called to the arts. And if you are a Christian that's called to the arts, definitely sit down, relax, just really allow your brain to work through this. And if you're not, this is a great time for you to just get on the inside of a Christian's head who is called to the arts at this moment in our society. All right, here you go. Enjoy this video. So I like what you say. Right now, we're talking about reaching people as a Christian. Forget that we're recording, but I just love these thoughts. I just want to write them down, but I'm too lazy, so I'm going to record it. But I love what you were saying about this in-between space because I've always been scared of it. So Grace was saying, Christians over here, reaching Christians, there's this area over here, correct me if I'm wrong, and then reaching secular people that don't believe in God over here. But there's this gap right here, the in-between space, the liminal space where things feel uncontrolled, raw, ugly, crazy, like you're being a sinner almost. I feel like that might be Satan's tactics too. But the reality is I feel like when I have been in those liminal spaces, which have been more than I probably ever wanted because they're so uncomfortable, the magic of God, which he doesn't do magic, but the glory of God is fully at its finest. It is crazy. He just rides in on the waves. And I think we don't go there, like we were just kind of saying, because we're scared. But you were just saying, you desire to be there. And I don't think I've ever heard anybody say that. And that's incredible to me. So just thank you for saying that.
Well, you're welcome. And I didn't know that I really desired to be there until, kind of recently starting to think about this, especially since I actually started pursuing my writing, actually pursuing it and started self-publishing a couple books and really getting into the writing community instead of just writing for my own pleasure and leaving it at that, the way I've done my whole life. And starting to realize that, there are Christian writers and secular writers, and there is that space in between. And, like I was saying about the whole Christian fantasy subgenre, I'm not putting that down, but I never felt called to write Christian fiction of any kind.
Yeah. Or to like label your stuff Christian. I think
label
that's
myself
the
as a
deception that the church tells us. If you don't label it Christian, right, it's not Christian. But the reality is like, who's making these labels? Like, I'm surely not God.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I don't think God is sitting there with this big label maker telling you which group to be in. I don't think it's his idea. I think this is all a man-made idea.
Yeah, I think we got to get to the point where we're like, okay, so like, say I'm writing a book, right? We need to get to the point where like, I don't have to label it a woman's book because it's coming from a woman's perspective. People can see that when they see my name on the book. They're like, that's a woman. If people can see the fruit in my life, they'll also know that that's a Christian. So they'll be able to say like, whoa, she didn't have to go put Christian labels on it or women labels or like a black girl wrote this or like a Californian wrote this. We all know who she is, what she looks like, where she's from, what she believes. But that's the problem. People aren't really open about what they believe, which I think is a mistake. So they're not really able to function in that liminal space because they're kind of scared to really just walk it out. If you walk it out and just be an artist, the cards would just fall wherever they fall in the 52 card pickup, and God would use that.
And that's where the authenticity in social media comes through. Because if you're just authentically you on social media, it's like, here's my book promotion tweet, and then here's my helpful information tweet.
Right.
That I'm retweeting from somebody else or linking back to their blog or whatever. And then here's my, this is a day in the life of Grace tweet, because I do try to mix up.
We all need those.
And you follow me on Twitter, and you actually read all my tweets, and you read into them and actually study me. I'd like to think people would start to figure out that, I'm a Christian. Or if I actually came out and said, hey, I'm a Christian, they wouldn't be surprised. Or maybe they would be surprised and be like, wow, I thought all Christians were like obnoxious sign-carrying morons. It's like, no, those are the annoying people who make the news. Us real Christians are, it's like, no, not everybody,
That's real, yeah.
I'd like to see, to be able to see the fruit, like you were saying, see the fruit in your life. And I think that in-between space that we're talking about, at my writing group that I go to once a month, one of the writers, there's only one lady in the group who's actually a published writer. Well, I guess her and me, but she actually has a publisher. I self-publish and she publishes through a publisher.
Wow.
She just published her second book through a publisher. It is, I think, technically a Christian publishing house. They publish a lot of what's usually called inspirational fiction,
right?
Which is usually Christian, but doesn't have to be. But if you mention the word God in your book, then they're okay to publish it, and things like that. And if your main character drinks and smokes, then they need to not drink and smoke by the end, and that kind of thing. But she does not sell her books exclusively through Christian bookstores. Her marketing, she doesn't do a lot of marketing, but her marketing isn't specifically to, church groups and, ladies' church book clubs and things like that. She tries, because it's historical fiction as well. So she markets it more towards people who are interested in an engaging, lighthearted story that takes place in the 1920s.
Wow.
Because that's what it is.
Oh.
But if you read the book, there's a little bit of spiritual stuff in there. The main character goes through a little bit of a spiritual journey. And
that's cool.
The main character is mad at God at the beginning, and then makes her new best friend is a Christian, an outspoken Christian, and so she starts kind of having different thoughts about God by the end of the book. But it's like a minor subplot, and it's not like beating you over the head with a Christian message.
Yeah.
So she markets her book as 1920s historical fiction, and it's, light reading as opposed to a heavy murder mystery. But it is Christian, but she does not call herself a Christian writer, per se. Yeah. I think she's a member of a couple Christian writing groups, but,
I think that's only in the arts that we do that, like Christian singer, Christian writer, Christian designer. You never be like, I'm a Christian plumber. I'm a Christian mechanic. Like that would be so ridiculous. People would be like, cool? Like, cool.
Like, how is a Christian plumber different from a regular plumber? It's like, well,
I
Nothing.
pray
Actually,
over your toilets. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm going to come fix your pipes either way. It's like, I don't care.
I think that's a mentality we have to get, like, out of the fact that, like, I am renewed spiritually and God is in me. It's going to be different. Whatever I do, like, not just art, like, so if I am a plumber, yeah, I might have revelation as to how to fix your crazy house that's leaking, and the next plumber doesn't, you know, if I'm in tune with God, you know what I mean? But, yeah, I think I think the fear of I think just fear in general has kept us from branching out and just going for it, to be honest. It's a lot of fear in it. So there's a lot of fear.
I think that's right. You saying what you said about, not wanting to just put covers of worship songs out on YouTube because you don't want to have the label of Christian singer.
Yeah, which, I mean, I feel like I already have. So, like, breaking away from that is like, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you might as well just, like, try to rip off a tattoo on your arm. But, I personally don't care. Label me whatever you want. But at the end of the day, I really have a heart for the lost. It was kind of crazy. I was just thinking about it. I, like, the people that are really struggling. I grew up in a family that was struggling. You know what I mean? Like, not financially, which is a blessing, but, like, mentally, struggling with love, like, lots of, like, just a lot going on. My dad did drugs, like, all kinds of craziness. So I just have a heart for people that, like, don't know peace. And, like, who is the king of peace? Jesus. So, like, there's people all, like, I had to come to realization, like, I honestly had never felt peace until I became a Christian. And that's one thing people don't even think about. And so, like, I'm really passionate that people would come to know peace like that. And so, yeah, I just think at the end of the day, I was praying to God and I said, you know what, God, I enjoy worship leading. I enjoy reaching the lost. I enjoy all these things, doing it with music. I enjoy, like, being an artist and, like, speaking about the times with music. But, like, and I'm not just called, it's my assignment to do all of those things, right? Like, at the end of the day, we're all called to know Jesus, and that's, like, your calling. But my assignment is to do all those things until he says stop. But, like, what I'm really passionate about is, like, going into a dark place and releasing a sound that, like, changes the atmosphere. I'm super passionate. I'm like, whoa, let's go. You know what I mean? And sometimes that is worship, but sometimes it's not. Like, it's not blatant genre-specific worship. Like, I'm always worshiping, but, like, sometimes it doesn't sound like, a worship artist on K-Love. Bless them. I love K-Love. I listen to it. I'm a nerd. I like it. It's very, it's not edgy. Maybe it's becoming that way. I don't know. But, yeah, I listen to K-Love, Air1, all those stations. I think they're great, and I love them. They have inspired me at times, but, yeah. That doesn't always do well in a bar. Not that that's where I play all the time, but
trying to reach the lost people, especially someone who has been, burned by the church in one form or another, because they had a bad experience and blamed it on God, or because they were raised in some really strict Catholic thing and they turned their back on the church and Christianity in general, or, somebody who was going to actively avoid anything with a Christian or churchy label to it, being a Christian singer, or, hey, my song is on K-Love, they're automatically going to go the other direction.
Yeah, they're like, don't hear you.
Yeah, I mean, a wall comes down, they're going to turn it off, they're going to go away, so then that's what I felt with my writing. It's like, if I label myself as a Christian fantasy writer, that's exciting, but there's a whole group of people out there who are going to purposefully never buy stuff.
Like, avoid it. Yeah. When it might be the best book they've ever read. Like, the content could be phenomenal, and it probably is, more so than others. And I think it's safe to say that we really need to avoid labeling ourselves. Because we like to put ourselves in boxes. We like to understand. I love understanding. I need understanding. God knows I need understanding. Like, about everything. I need to, like, just know why. All the time. And you don't always get that. But I think we need to, like, chill with the boxes we put ourselves in and our art in. Because it could go places that we don't even expect it to. But yet, we put it in a box and, like, try to, like, call it something. And it doesn't get its full promotion or reach because we put it in a box. In the wrong box, probably, too. Which is sad. Yeah. That's exciting. Maybe we should do a product on this eventually. That's why I'm recording. But, yeah. Grace, you're amazing. I love your heart. I'm so grateful that you're still with Helps Too and that we get to do life together. Even if it's over the internet.